मोस्ट ऑफ द टेंडर वो तो ऑडिट एंड अकाउंट्स दोनों के एक साथ जुड़ा देता है ना, फिर भी वो ऑडिट अकाउंट काट देता है ठीक ही, लेकिन वो पीछे में तो अकाउंट करा लेते हैं। यही बात है,
होना ही चाहिए।
तो दैट शुड बी अवेयर बाय द, हाँ ये अवेयरनेस तो गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट को होना ही चाहिए,
करना पड़ेगा। और उससे क्या है कि फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द प्रोफेशन ही है, वो करना ही चाहिए।
दैट शुड बी,
ग्रेट सजेशन।
ओके, जितना हम लोग ये व्हाट्सएप ऑन द गवर्नमेंट ऑडिट और गवर्नमेंट अकाउंटिंग के बारे में हम लोग बात करें कि यूएलबी के बारे में बात करते हैं ना, तो ओनली आवर फैटर्निटी विल नो हाउ टू डू, बट दैट शुड बी reach to the government organization or the government people also. So every WhatsApp, I think Saroj also, Saroj, you should take care of that when you conduct any PCM like that. That time some co-host or just a representative from the government authority regarding this government accounting and audit. That time, if you call and if you invite that person to join with us, that will be for our fraternity. That will be a good success for the. It should reach to this government also.
Definitely.
We all the CAs and our fraternity know how to conduct the audit or the accounting in this government sector and the ULB sector somehow. But the government also should be aware of that. What should be done at the government level? What is the requirement for the government? Our institute has already how many accounting standard for the ULB?
30.
At present?
30.
30. So somehow the corporation on the ULB, he doesn't know about this matter, and then how we can go there and convince to that people that that should be done in that way. So we have to conduct the seminar. It is my views actually. Maybe in the different views for this other charter accountant.
No, there is no different views. There is no different.
No, actually,
all sessions
that
are
should be not.
welcome. All sessions are welcome.
No. All suggestion, that is not the suggestion. I am the small people, how we can give the suggestion for a larger body of our second largest organization. But it is my view that
no, actually, I think the suggestions comes from each and every person, maybe from student also, and even you are the senior member, so that is.
My view is that always like that program for the government accounting or the audit or the ULB related issue, that should be our fraternity should attach with that. Our the co-members all are with us. Along with, I think some of the if we just reach to them and associate with our program, so that will be a great achievement for our fraternity also. Somehow they should know how to conduct.
Yeah, when Niteshji was in the team IRC, we once upon organized two of the programs. One with the government sector for school audits and another for urban local body. We had organized in EIRC.
And one of the program I attended that program in the government urban local bodies, I think.
Yeah.
But somehow, if it is repeatedly done, actually this is an unavailed view, you can say like that. This unavailed thing, you should avail. There is so much opportunity in this ULB. We are conducting this ULB audit. Most of our charter accountant, those who are in the practice, somehow they are that dominates to practice in this ULB sector also. But how much the ULB knows about the audit and what is the purpose for this audit, that should be awarded by our auditee also itself. Otherwise, the recognition is not possible for the charter accountant. They are treated like as a contractor. This is my views. Thank you, Suman. And Saroj, over. You please start. Okay.
In the long run, we are going to definitely take care of all the viewpoints you have shared with us on this platform. No doubt about it. We will be enriched in the long run with your suggestions, and we'll try our best to coordinate few more sessions on a frequent basis so that the entire fraternity is benefited. And definitely we'll look forward the government people also to
associate with us,
have a wide discussions and share our viewpoint with them and to come across their viewpoint on the subject matter.
Certainly, that should be. Otherwise, we cannot develop actually. We cannot reach that particular domain, which is actually at present also it is an unavailed domain by the chartered accountant.
Correct.
It is a good opportunity for the chartered accountant. This is also a separate domain. It is not a normal type of accounting, and the people also not in the normal in the sense. There is a different hurdles in conducting this audit and any accounting works in this government organization or especially ULBs. Their mental setup is different. So we have to out of that box to that people, to our general, our fraternity, like what we do, what we can do, what we can able for the benefit of that organization. You have to understand so that they can accept us. Otherwise, just near a compliance type of internal audit, most of our chartered accounting firms are conducting. This is not any value addition to this organization also. That is only for the compliance.
So, Suman, should we start?
Yes, Suman.
Yeah.
Please start.
So, welcome friends today. Today we have with us CA Suman Chaudhary, CA Hariram ji, CA Nitesh Morji, CA Nirmal Chakravarti, and all my friends. Today we have a very uncommon topic, which is normally dictated as follows: mandates for chartered accountants working for local bodies under the activities of AKAM. And the subject will be dealt in details by CA Suman Chaudhary. I now request our Deputy Convener CA Nitesh Morji to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you, Sarojji. Friends, the topic today is very uncommon, and we have very eminent speaker of our region, Chaudhary. I welcome my friend Sumanji to our study circle. Friends, as far as the government audit and accountings are concerned, many of us do not have such expertise probably, and many of us probably do not want to venture into such type of auditing or accounting things. So first of all, we should explore this type of ventures also. I remember when I was the chairman PD committee and CA Anirvan Datta was the chairman, we had represented for increase in the college audit fees and school audit fees. And that time, after hours of discussion, the authority agreed to increase the college audit fees from 3,500 to over 10,000 with the approval of the upper authority. They had sent the request, and after 2-3 years, actually the fees had increased. So continuously the institute is trying. We all are trying for whatever we can do for the betterment of the profession. I think we all should venture into these type of things, and we should explore such type of things, and we should continuously represent to the authority so that it is a area of practice, a better area of practice for all of us. With this, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Nitesh. Now I request Hariram ji to briefly introduce CA Suman Chaudhary, our today's speaker.
Thank you, Convener Mr. Sarojji Swaika, for giving me the opportunity to introduce the speaker of today's 2-hour CP seminar, who is none other than our Suman Chaudhary. Suman Chaudhary is well known to most of us. Let me introduce Suman Chaudhary to the learned audience. Yes, Suman Chaudhary is a FCA, DISA, ICI, LLB, MCOM, MBA, BCom honors, and also completed certificate courses on concurrent audit, forensic audit of banks from ICI, and certificate course of public finance and government accounting from ICI. Not only that, he is a guest faculty of Administrative Training Institute, Government of West Bengal, RTI under CAG, National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, Kolkata, and faculty identified through FIP of Indirect Taxes Committee of ICI for GST from Eastern region. Friends, he has a vast experience in the field, and he has worked as accounts and finance coordinator of municipality under Kolkata Urban Service for Poor. Also designated as information manager for basic service for urban poor, that is BSUP, which is a project under JNNURM, a central government project. He was an industrial trainee with Calcutta Electric Supply Limited in the Treasury and Payroll Administration of Finance Department for 2 years. Friends, he is practicing as a chartered accountant since 2011 and served EIRC, ICI as co-opted member of various committees for last 5 years, including CP committee of EIRC and member of study group of CASLB. Not only that, he is currently vice president of the Institute of Internal Audit Calcutta chapter and secretary of the Accountants Library, Aikar Bhavan. He is a member of steering committee of CCCBA. He was during the period 93-96 and cultural secretary and vice president of CCBA in 94-95. And deputy convener of the Salt Lake City Chartered Accountant Study Circle, EIRC of ICI. At present, he is an executive committee member of Salt Lake City Chartered Accountants Association, convener of Vidhan Nagar Chartered Accountants Study Circle, EIRC, and president elected 22-23 of Rotary Club of Salt Lake, Calcutta, and vice president.
Thank you, Nitishan. Thank you, Ramji.
And
thank you.
In addition to that, he is member of 2 prestigious clubs, that is Outram Club and Newtown Business Club. And he is a regular speaker to the various forums of our CA fraternity. Now, I present Suman Chaudhary to the audience. Over to our convener, Sarojji Swaika.
Thank you, Hariramji, for a very nice introduction. With this, I request CA Sumanji to carry on your deliberations. Please.
Thank you, Sarojji. Thank you, Niteshji. Thank you, Hariramji, who are my panelists in this discussion. I could find my dear friend Nirmal is also there. I can find my senior Rajaraman Chaudhary. He is from my Salt Lake block. I also welcome you, sir. And there are many more friends which are in the same fraternity. So my topic today is CA mandate for urban local bodies who are working for urban local bodies under the NATAM. What is this? Basically, the government of India is now thinking of extending the services of the CA to be reached to the urban local bodies. So they are said Atmanirbhar. That was the main theme of the government. Now Atmanirbhar for the urban local bodies also they are planning of. So right now, government is thinking of carrying out so many jobs as a consultant, as an advisor, as a software provider, also migrating the job of migrating from the manual system to the computerized system, changing from cash basis to accrual basis. These are the thought process which our government are thinking of. And the topic was framed in such a way that we should, as a chartered accountant, must also know that whether we are prepared to take up this job. Because government has multiple options for us, multiple scope of work of us. But when institute goes to the government or asks for, sir, we are there, we have so many chartered accountants over there. So government asks, we have so many chartered accountants, what will they do? Whether they will do only audit, whether they will do only taxation, or they can do anything which can give us which can increase our revenue, or they can help us in doing some consultancy job, my financial jobs, what a CA can do. Then government asks whether they have the qualified specific knowledge. Like we are all chartered accountants having a banking experience, whether we have done various courses on bank, whether you say concurrent, whether you say forensic, so many courses are there in the institute portfolio. So we got training and have a certificate on all these various types of these various types of subjects. So we can say to the government, sir, we as a CA are very much good in banking sector, and now you enroll us, now we can deliver whatever you ask, whether you ask in a long form, audit report, we are the best person, we are the best, so you plus give us the job of bank audit. Then it came for the tax audit. Now governments are, so you chartered accountants are very good in accounting and taxations. So well, now you do another thing, that is that you are now open to the forum of tax audit. Tax, what the purpose of that thought process of government? The government thought that with a huge population growing day and by day, a minimum screening should be done by the CS. So government thought, yes, then we can give you then tax audit. It is your purview, only the CA can do the tax audit, and they can produce the report on the best of which the assessing officer can have a minimum idea, or they can make a platform where they can screen whether which accounts should be billed more or looked into. So whenever GST came into play, we have multiple slides, multiple classes, multiple webinars, multiple seminars on GST. And that's why we proved ourselves that we are the GST experts. And now when the government comes for the accounting for urban local bodies, they ask, sir, where is your panel? So EIS, ICAI has thought of creating a panel of speakers, panel of certified holders who are accustomed or knowing about the rules and regulations of a urban local body. So first of all, what is an urban local body? If you ask a CA, many of the CA practicing say, sir, what do you know by urban local body? What is its functions? And how does it serve the members, and what can any member do anything, any work for the urban local bodies? Many of the times, tenders comes up in the pages. You have to go in, you have to go this audit, this urban local bodies is having the internal audit. So many of the CA firms apply for this internal audit, knowing and not knowingly they signs the balance sheet. I'll come into in details. Then institute thought of the last chairman of the committee took a initiative that he should plan all the accounting standard by within a 2 years time frame. Urban local bodies institute had framed 30 accounting for urban local bodies. Now, what can institute do? Institute can mandate its member, and they can request the government that they should think of a process that where this type of service they must ask from the practicing chartered accountant, that in the long run the government is benefited from that. So on the basic purpose, the main structure, the Constitution of India gives the power to the central government, the state government, and the urban local bodies. Basically, the urban local bodies under the 74th Amendment, which came into play, I think, in the 2001, Nirmal can say the date. So it is, I think, in 2001 where the government at the central level, after discussion, straightforward discussion in the parliament, they thought of that the government must be divided into three parts. Three tiers, I say. Three tiers is, first tier is the central government, second tier is the state government, and the third government is the urban local bodies. These urban bodies includes the panchayats and the municipalities and the corporations. So there are three parts into it. One is the central government, one is the state government, and is the urban local bodies, which again includes three numbers, that is the panchayat, the municipalities, and the corporations. Now, so now the government says that this three tier has the capacity of earning their own revenue. That means this three tier can tax you at any level. Like the central government can tax you for the income tax, they can tax you for your excise, they can tax you for the GST. But previously, it was also the purview. GST was not, VAT was replaced by GST. And in the VAT era, it was the main paraphernalia was on the state government. Now, after the GST comes into play, you know that now it's called the GST Council. GST Council is all the state governments are the representative and the central government are the representative of the GST Council. So whenever a recommendation can be made as per the Constitution of India, a recommendation can be made by the GST Council where after the discussion, the state may agree or may not agree. So it is always the power of the prejudice of the state government to think how they can earn their revenue and in what name and what percentage or what they do. Now, coming to the urban local body, it is one step below. It is not even that the central government talks with the state government and takes its decisions. They are all the urban local bodies chairman or the mayor are the main and the board of councillors are the main persons to whom he have to talk about. Now think of a situation in only West Bengal. We are 128 urban local bodies and also more than 300 panchayats. So whenever a consortium for the state government is to be taken on a rate, any decision regarding the accounts, they have to sit to all this authority and take a platform and then come to a conclusion. So this becomes a Herculean task. And different type of state governments are governed by their own manual, own paraphernalia, how they will maintain it. So like, you know that all the balances are the purview of the CAG as far as the state of West Bengal is concerned, because state of West Bengal, any of the urban local bodies, the balance sheet and the transaction audit, that we say the statutory audit part is given the responsibility to the CMG, where the CA, knowingly, unknowingly, if he signs any report which comes out to a statutory audit, but it does not have any value in terms of state government or in terms of central government. So first of all, we have to know what is our scope of work. Before we are starting our program, another learning speaker, Mr. Nimal Chakraborty, was rightly identified that what the state government must think first. And that's we should at the EISC level, not at the EISC level. If it is only at the EISC level, we have to talk with some of the nearby states also, because Odisha is also included under EISC. So like that, in every region, they have to talk with the state government and each of the statement should take their own course of action. So like for you to know that government of Bihar has given the purview that a CA can do their balance sheet audit. And in the state of Delhi also, they have given the right to the CA that they can audit the statutory audit of the all the urban local bodies. So, and so now, now it is upon the state government to think of whether they required the service of a CAs or not. So the institute is trying hard, and they had from 1st April 2022, they made a mandate for the CAs because they cannot give a mandate to the government. Now they have made a mandate to the institute members who are signing any of them, whether it is a way of internal audit, whether they are signing the balance sheet audit. These are the two accounting standards which are being made mandatory. That is the cash flow statement and that is the investment statement. And these two they have made it very mandatory, borrowing cost and this cash flow statement. This is the mandate. That is the mandate given by the institute for all the members. It is, they had made it, so that's why the topic of this today was the mandate for the CS working for the urban local bodies. Obviously, whether they are working as an accountant, whether they're giving the service as an accounting service, if they are giving at the accounting service, it is recommended that they follow these two accounting standards, because till today, our government has not accepted, or I have told you the problem where the government cannot accept, it is within the purview of the central government to make it mandatory for the urban local bodies to make it under to follow this accounting, all the accounting standards. First of all, in this case of a scenario of West Bengal, it has primary on the basis of the municipal accounting manual. Government of West Bengal has first, and I think the government of Kerala, both government has accepted and taken the tax and converted all their balance sheet based on the actual base of accounting, recommended by the accounting standard manual given by the central government, and this was again drafted and amended and accepted by the state government based on the amendment and accepted. They had framed out the accounting model, the standard they have to maintain on their way, and primarily not all of the urban local bodies has converted from cash basis to accrual basis. But in West Bengal, all of the urban local body has converted from cash basis to accrual basis. But it is a big question whether all of the urban local bodies are at this moment are maintaining or updating their accounting and balance sheet on accrual basis on day-to-day basis, or somebody is lagging behind, say for 5 years, say for 6 years, because till date there is no certain platform from where a general citizen can find out whether their municipality has prepared the balance sheet. But it is the citizen demand and also the demand from the investor. So now think why this government is thinking this should be converted, whether they have recommended for the state government, and some of the state government has also accepted, and they have taken, they have converted their accounting procedure from the single entry cash basis to double entry accrual based system. Some of the municipalities in other states are maintaining both of them. And now I'll come to the point why they are maintaining parallel these two accounts. Because the state government has not made it mandatory for them to maintain their accounts or prepare their accounts on the basis of double entry and basis of accrual based accounting. But when they have taken some grant from other government, other agencies, say with other state agencies, or they are coming out with some joint ventures, or some persons is coming for investments in this urban local body, they insist if the investor is outside or international investor, they always ask for, why please produce your balance sheet, which is based on double entry accrual system. And after we getting into it, and after scrutinizing what are the current scenario of these urban local bodies, they think of that they will invest in that or not. Like Japan, Susco was a project for government of West Bengal, where there was a joint collaborations by the water department of Japan and some of the urban local bodies, which have taken up this project for them. And there was the DeFi project, which I used to work, Nirmal used to work, somebody I don't find here, but many of the CS used to work for BSP, JNURM, because the main target was that you must convert your accounting system from single entry to double entry system, and also cash basis to accrual basis. But now we have to think why government will convert from cash basis to accrual basis, falling so much of pain, taking so much of consultation from various persons who are not a part and parcel of the urban local bodies. Because if anybody has any idea of this urban local bodies, I'll ask, because only is going on speaking will be very boring. I'll also ask some participants. If they want to speak, they can unmute themselves and they can speak. If they want to write something on the chat, they can also write on the chat. Because if the session goes on not in a very studio type, I just say and say, it may be on a boring part. So I'll request, if you have anything to share, you can share, or you can interrupt me if you have any questions in between. I would like to ask, what is it? I can find Saroj. Saroj, if you can add on this, what do you mean by urban local bodies? So what is your idea about urban local bodies? ये चीज क्या है? खाने को मिलता है क्या? खाने को देता है क्या? चीज है? What is its functions? What is basically does? Saroj, are you there?
Yeah, I am there.
Yeah, you can speak up now. We are just sharing of our thoughts.
No issues. Suman, one thing I would highlight and say in front that the audience are muted totally. So if you have any questions, as you have requested them so they can raise a hand so that I'll unmute them and give a chance to speak first. Regarding this, the question you have said, say I am not a correct person to answer this, but
no, because basically you are a CA. I am also asking, because I am asking you as a did not on urban local body platform. That's why I said, what is your idea about urban local body? What is it? This, what if any charter accountant is asked what is a bank, they'll just say this is a bank. If somebody charter accountant says that taxations ka mamla hai, everybody will raise his hand and say, right, this is this and this is this.
In a nutshell, I can say only urban local ये जो bodies वगैरह होती हैं, ये जो government organization है, जैसे पंचायत हुई for example, छोटे मोटे जो ये क्या नाम है, controlling authorities for with respect to development, say irrigation department or whatever you can say, electricity तो अलग हो गया खैर, लेकिन urban में छोटा छोटा रूप में जो भी government backed है, funding है, from the central or state governments आते हैं, उनकी जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, जो वर्किंग एटमॉस्फेयर है उनका, वो जो बॉडीज है, आई कैन ओनली से दैट कि उस बॉडीज को ही हम लोग रेफर करते हैं कि अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज वही सब है, जो कि गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल्ड है फुल्ली. अब कितना काम करते हैं नहीं करते, दैट इज समथिंग डिफरेंट. अब उसका उनका अकाउंटिंग और फंडिंग का कैसे कंट्रोल होता है, क्या होता है, दैट आई हैव नेवर डेल्ट विद.
So basically because it is not even into our curriculum, because we have never learned also in our we have learned taxation, we have learned audit, but in the very back in the BCom time there was a chapter. Yeah, Nirmal is there. Yes, Nirmal. Please unmute Nirmal. I think Nirmal is going to say something. Yes, Nirmal.
Hello.
Yeah, Nirmal.
Hello.
What is the understanding about urban local?
No, I just told regarding this date of 74th Constitutional Amendment is 20th April 1993, Constitutional Amendment 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. The 74th Constitution come into effect from 20th April 1993 actually.
All right.
This is one, and another thing I would like to share that very recently we come to know something regarding this 14th finance grant given from the central government.
Nirmal, I want to just, my question is that what is your understanding of urban local body? We'll come to that
Actually, urban local bodies is like as a service provider unit. They will give the service to our citizen under their jurisdiction, and they provide all the things: infrastructural, water service, cleaning, drainage, cleaning of drainage, and immunization. That is also the part of the health, although they are conducting through urban local bodies. And they also, at present, some of the ULBs, they are running some traffic guard for the busy road in order to just free up the traffic. And they are providing the registration for the trade license, birth date certification given by the urban local bodies. They are providing the taxation. Actually, I have to pay the municipal tax to this government. That is their main source of the revenue of this organization. And some garbage tax or something like that they can ask. They can ask from the service receiver. Actually, they are cleaning this road, the lighting, street lighting. They are maintaining. They are developing the roads under the jurisdictions of their municipality. They are providing this water supply services. Without cost at present state government mandate. They're giving free of cost water and so many things they can develop and they can give with the price. That is the resource mobilization. That part I think Suman will share in subsequent period. They can generate the resource, and this is also our domain, how to motivate to the ULB's people so that their revenue also will generate it, number one. Another thing is that at present, the government thinking is that the three-tier government should be self-sufficient. They earn their own money and spend accordingly. There is no such government grant, and in the near future, the government grant will be slashed. And each and every ULBs will self-sufficient, they can earn and invest. Like that way, this logic has already been started, and for that reason, the double entry accounting system is very much needed. And some of the ULBs in our India also, they can issue
Alright.
the bond
Take.
for giving this
Yeah,
public
yeah.
money. They
I'll
are
come. I'll come.
just
Nirmal, I'll come.
okay.
Well, okay. Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
all these activities in nutshell, and there is
Alright.
a big domain for the. There is a big opportunity for us, for like as a chartered accountant fraternity.
Thank you.
But that opportunity, if you grab, you have to take the pill.
All
That
right.
is our
All right.
challenge. You
Thank
have to take the challenge.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you. So anyone who likes to add anything? I don't think anybody is trying to give any answers to this. The basic thing I want to clarify is that urban local body and the state government and the central government are three other status, and three are the same. Three are not the same thing. Every day when you come up from our bed or when you wake up, all of the activity you are involved, it is governed under any of the governments. Anything you do, morning pe jab nal mein pani aata hai, if in the morning water comes, if anybody is going to take dustbin from your home, everything is taken care of by the government. But to what extent? Basically the basic needs of a citizen is taken care by this urban local body. So, and the state government basically looks after the law and order subject of the state. And they are giving a guideline how these urban local bodies will go and do in the long future. So for an urban local body, you must be very clear that an urban local body can do anything other than a fire brigade service. All of the service can be taken care of by any urban local bodies, because it is permissible functions. They can have their own hospitals, they can have their own toll, they can even go for premises, they can have their rural grounds. All of the functions other than the fire and the police, these except these two service, all of the service the urban local body can carry. Can you think of the volume? A big urban corporations can have its own school, can have basically their functions, daily functions which they regular take care. Other functions like water supply, drainage, sewerage, cleaning of roads, cleaning of trees when there is a storm. These are the basic areas. Other than that, some of the urban local bodies have their own hospitals, have their schools, have their own bus routes, have their toll, and they can do all of the functions which a state government can do other than a firefighting and of a law and order situation. Even they can have their own mechanism of collecting their revenues, because that's why it is a three-tier government. Like the central government collects the income tax, the GST, the state government collects the other taxes like the vehicle taxes, the CGST part, SGST part, state government GST part, and the urban local bodies collection is your trade license. That is not your trade license, basically that is a certificate of enlistment, and they can have your property tax. Even they can have your development tax. They can have your banner lifting charges, signboard charges, and many more and many things. So basically, these three-tier, on the basis of this three-tier government, the urban local body has also the power to collect the revenue. Now, why NAKAM has taken care of, and why Institute has regularly having collaborations and talk about with the government department and institutes are talking about. So I'll now share a screen with you. Suraj, is my...
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So now the NAKAM is that basically it is AKAM, that is Amrit Utsav Mahotsav. That is, government has already think that we should be Atmanirbhar. So why it is very critical? Because day and day out, the demand for the services of the urban people and the rural people is going to a maximum level. Because that's why this is becoming a very critical, and government is now thinking, and as per the high power executive committee has given a report that in the year 2011, the urban population was 377 million, that is 31%. And in the year 2031, it will be 60 million, that is whereas 45%, because you can see that is nearing about 50% of the population is going to be urban. So for the urban populations, the headache on the people of government and the giving service to the persons, previously who are the people of the old, or even we at the 40s and the 50s, we can see in the budget previously, people, major of the portion was for agricultural belt, agriculture development, agricultural subsidies, and each and everything on based on agriculture. Because that time 85 to 90% was agriculture and rural area, and that time urbanization was at the of 10 to 15% was the urban population. But day to day in the 2011 itself, it is 31% of the total population. And now we can see that the government is now making huge fund release for these urban local bodies. So that's why government has taken a mission that to become a 5 million economy. The major thing is to be contributed from this urban sector. Now the current state of affairs is that 43% of revenues from urban local bodies has from its own resources. That means 67% of the revenues is not collected by the urban local bodies. Because so if everybody knows how can we, if you are sitting on a chair to run a community or run a body, so you must have your income. The current state of affairs says only 43% of your revenue for urban local bodies comes from their own resources. That means the water which comes, 1 liter of water delivered to your home, you are paying nothing for it. You are only paying a property tax. And some of the times, if you are building your new building, you may pay some development fees. But all the service, water coming to your taps, the drain, the roads is making clear of. So some funds should be taken by the urban local body, whether they should borrow it or they should get some grant. So basically, government of India has a mechanism of giving them some grants, but there are also some criteria on that. And so government has saying that you can do a market borrowing, but for the urban local bodies, the borrowing is just 2% for the urban local body own source. You can think if somebody comes to you and says, sir, you give me some amount, I'll pay you the interest, not knowing the KYC of the person. So you are not in a confident mode that you can give any funding for this person. So taking this example, if an urban local body goes to any of the in any of the banks and says, sir, give me a loan of this and this amount. So what the bank will ask, bank says, sir, I know you are an urban local body. You have the power to collect your taxes, but on basis of which I can give you the loan. So now the terms comes, if they go out for borrowing, they must have their KYC of their financials. That is, they must have their income and expenditure account, their cash flows, and their balances ready if they want to make borrowings from the market. And also, what Vimal has correctly justified or highlighted, the government has given the permission to issue bonds. Like bonds was in the 6 or 7 years back, the bond of the urban local bodies was thought to be a matter that which you can get at any price, that anybody will try to buy bonds. Like you buy government gold bonds, state government bonds, like urban local body bonds will also be sold. But when it was floated, to issue any bonds, there are some paraphernalia given by the RBI, the SEBI, on so only 2% of the municipal bond could be issued till date. Because as Hyderabad has issued their own bond, but day in, day out, if your organization is always funded by other sources, and if you don't have your own source of revenue, nobody used to go to invest in your bonds, because now the questions will come to the persons that how can you pay the dividend to the persons, or you can pay off the amount you are issuing the bonds. So issue of bonds was thought process of like 5 or 6 years back, but only 1 or 2 municipal corporations could have only issued bond, but that also market has no such demand, very demand. So government is now saying, announce a subsidy of 2%. Government has announced a subsidy of 2% for municipal bonds. If they say that if the municipality cannot pay the bond amount of interest they have told to be given in the bond, so let's government will take the guarantee, and government will pay 2% as a subsidy for paying off these bond dividends. So this is a big thought by the government. So the fiscal responsibility and budgeting mechanism provides numerical limits to the deficit and borrowings by the government and includes provision for fiscal discipline. So as per the municipal acts goes, as the corporation acts goes, you are given a certain limitations to what level you can go for funding, for bond, for issue of how to what limit you can increase your taxation rate. So there are certain limitations to them. So if they want to increase the revenue by only increasing the rate and also increasing the coverage, they have to think that what are the major another innovative ideas through which we can come up to have to collect this revenue to run these urban local bodies. So the major urban local property tax constitute bulk of their revenue. Other sources are largely inelastic, means for one time, if you say you are collecting a parking for any circus or big mela occurring in urban local bodies, but you cannot stretch it because it is a one-time matter. It can happen one time in a year. Even if you are thinking that I will increase that trade license, so the number of shops you have can be multiplied by the rate, but it cannot be it is not elastic that you can increase in day in and day out. So there are also significant cross bordering. Say if you are in an urban local body adjacent to another urban local body, if the rate of that urban local body is lower than what you are expecting from your citizen, so it may create a problem if you are not uniformity. So the high power executive committee has stressed the need of innovative means of finance. So this is what a urban local body is, and urban local body requirement. So now it comes to the now the play of a charter accountant in urban local bodies. Basically, you have to know what whenever a urban local body is asking you for your services, what are the services you can be asked for. I can find that many of the urban local bodies are using the services of the charter accountant as the consultant for their GST, for their TDS, and for their professional tax and other compliant services, which the charter accountant are giving service to their urban local bodies. Already this is the services which major of the urban local bodies are taking help of the charter accountant, and they are always knowing the subject very well. They are giving their consultancy, but this is all about compliance. Now, another area of for the charter accountant is that we must think that we have to wear multiple hats. Not that we must be going only for we are asking that we are going for an audit. So as the constitution does not give you the right for the statutory audit, you can, I think everybody understand what is the nature of the banker when you go for a concurrent audit and you are going for a statutory audit. Because when you are going for a concurrent audit for a bank, you are always their big brother or you are their co-staff which can identify the defects and work on it, and they bothly simultaneously come out to a solution how the things can be rectified. But statutory is that you are reporting to someone outside the organization. So, so whenever you are going for a bank for a concurrent audit, you will hardly can find a 2 chairs for your articles if you are going for a concurrent audit. But when you are going for a statutory audit, you will see that if you are 3 numbers, there is 6 chairs for you ready for you. So this is a basic thought process, different thought process. But in the urban local bodies, people, as the case of West Bengal, you are not the statutory auditor. The government has not given you the statutory right. So you can, if it is asked about audit, you are given the purview to do statutory internal audit. And as you know, internal audit can be done by chartered accountant, cost accountant, any other, if whatever the criteria of the urban local body says. Now, there is a big questions coming up, which Nirmal has raised regarding the tender procedure. See, whenever the urban local body comes up with any tender, they can make tender for the internal audit and for the accounts preparations. And I'll say I'll not take up questions, or I'll not go into detail what is the case of government, because I say that government and urban local bodies is like different. But if you say about government or government organizations, then it may be the state government or the central government or the state government run organization or state government aided organization. But urban local body, they are independent body. They can take any independent decisions without the consultation of the state government. Major decisions, I'll say major decisions, because some of the, if there is any guideline from the state government that you should not do, that is, I think they have come to a conclusion after sharing all their views with the municipal chairmen or the corporations mayors. So majorly independency of urban local bodies is there. So if they ask for any services, in specifically I am saying it is for West Bengal. If it is for Bihar, they can ask for statutory also. But for West Bengal, if they are asking for, they will majorly ask for the internal audit. So as far you know, UDIN has been given, and for the many of the times, it has talk have been coming out regarding the tenders. Regarding tenders, yes, I do agree that institute must educate the government, but the problem is that the government officers are interchangeable. So as now a time has come, which our president says, we have to showcase ourselves. So what can we do? Not that only given the directions and given the notices that you go this way and you go that way. We as a chartered accountant, if we accept any tender, which we see it is outside our ethics, it is the primary responsibility of the members. It is not the responsibility of the institute, not the responsibility of the government. If there is a defective tender called by any of the organizations, it is us who accept these tenders. So if as a member we reject, is not one. If all of the members must understand which is within our purview and which is outside our purview. See, if there are accountings, there are disciplinary committees, disciplinary mechanism, but if you do not go by the tender guideline given by the institute and participate in a tender, it is not possible for the institute to find out each and every whatever tenders they are going. They should give a vigilance of them. It should be reported by the members by which type of tender, if they come into notice to them, it should be reported to the EISC or the ICI, and they will take the proper steps. But as you know, EISC or ICI is basically a government organizations. So they will go as per the government paraphernalia. But as the members, if we find any of the tenders, it is going beyond our professional ethics, or it is going, is attracting anything which is not in good practice, we as a practicing chartered accountant, we should not accept this type of tenders. Tenders will come if anybody says, do you want to do this work? So institute cannot say to the government, don't issue this type of tenders. They will come because government organizations each and every year. Somebody may be coming into the job, somebody is leaving the job, somebody is going out for there. So it is not possible that each and every officer can be trained up. But institute gives the mandate, gives all the writings with how the tender can be floated. But as a member, if we accept, it is our risk and it is our responsibility that it is taken in a proper way. But regarding urban local bodies, it is the internal audit. So minimum price quotation is not there. But if you are a chartered accountant and quoting any price, now institute, if you are a member of the institute, institute is now made it mandatory for all the practicing chartered accountant that they should come under peer review. But when your firm comes into peer review, you must now just keep your justification ready how you have quoted this price, that at this low price, I think Nimal was pointing out the low price quotation. So if somebody is quoting low and if he has a proper justification, then it is okay, because I can restrict a person if he has done justice to the job and done the job at a lower price. But if he has not done the proper justice to the work he has done, and he has not justified the requirement, then it is subject to his disciplinary committee. It is subject to the institute disciplinary committee. Regarding this internal audit tenders, minimum price quotation is not mandatory, because it can be quoted by a cost accountant, the company secretary, any accountant, any lawyer, and it is an internal audit as a concern. But do you have any question till date about urban local bodies? Any ideas about local bodies? Because I was just speaking as a stale mode. So is nothing in the chat box? Nirmal, are you there? I can find here. Saroj, is anyone?
There are no hands raised.
Yeah, hand raised. Rajaramandi.
Anybody have any questions, any doubts? They feel free to raise their hands so that I can unmute them.
I can find Ruby Kumar is there. I can Ojai Pal is also there.
No questions, Suman.
No questions. All right. I may be not miss whatever I have told you. Either it is not ordinary, means it is not clear enough to anybody, or it may be that everybody has have a bit idea of what it is.
I think Nirmal has one question.
Yeah. Nirmal, allow Nirmal to have the questions. Yeah, there is one question, that is Uddin Mullik. Why it is mandate? Yeah, why it is mandate? Yeah. I'll come up. Nirmal, do you have any questions? I'll come to the question asked by Mr. Mollik. Mr. Mollik, why it is mandatory? The institute is made it mandatory for the members. Whenever, because what are the two that is they have said out of the 30 accounting standard or urban standard for the urban local bodies, which they have recommended in nature, out of these two, they have made it compulsory. One is the cash flow, and another is that is your borrowing cost. Because these two are related, these two are very much related to the person, like the people who are issuing their bonds and the people who are going to invest, or whenever a health of the organizations can be identified. Because many of the times we neglect cash flow, because cash flow is the thing where you can see then on what are the revenues from where the cash has been come into, and what was the purpose of the cash inflows, whether they has justified in that proper form or they had diverted the cash and used this cash for other purpose. I'll come to in details. So the institute thought that whenever it is not, government has not mandated, but you are signing any internal audit report or you are signing any balance sheet for the other states also, you must comply with these two accounting standards, because who will see this balance sheet? First of all, we have to know who are the persons who are going to look for this balance sheet, whether you are going to ask for your balance sheet of the urban local bodies. I stay in Salt Lake. In the morning, I thought that I should have the Salt Lake study circle balance sheet. Why it is not there in the west side of the balance sheet of the study circle? I mean, of the Salt Lake. So I may find out. I can ask. I want to go and read on the balance sheet of Salt Lake. So whether it should be my academic interest, but what will the purpose be served for any of the members, any of the citizens to come to know what was the balance sheet? But if the cash flow statement is clear enough, you can think that what are the capital expenditure my urban local body is thinking of, or what are the revenue expenditure what are the short-term investment my organization is thinking of. So, and again, also the persons who are going to invest their money in this urban locality in way of bonds, in way of investment, say joint ventures, PPP model. So they must know the KYC. So some regulations, some standards should be maintained based on which is based on report is being prepared, so that the persons who are primarily involved, are primarily required for this, are getting the proper information, are getting a proper clarity on these reports or on this balance sheet or PLF or financial statement, which has been prepared or justified or audited by a chartered accountant. So as the government has not made it mandatory, the institute has made it mandatory, because the mandatory for the members, because institute can make it mandatory for the members only. If a cost accountant is signing any or balance sheet, which the institute cannot impose anything on them. So the institute thought that if it is better that there should be uniformity. So I cannot impose uniformity where the basic structure is different. And also they have recommended a investment ebook, which is coming up on the urban local bodies. How can they take investment? What should be the criteria of the investment? So they have making it in a light mode, and not making it so critical that it has become difficult for the urban local body to understand. And see, when service tax was introduced, it was introduced with 5%. Now we can see our GST is as high as 28%. So whenever any new thing is coming to play, if we say from tomorrow we are going to impose 30 accounting standard, and it is not possible for us as a chartered accountant to deliver all the 30 accounting standard, because this standard, what the institute has done, the government institute had thought and created and recommended certain total accounting standard, which the government may come after some time and think that these are the accounting standard which may be and must be followed. So I think there was a question from Mr. Mullik. I think I am clear, or if you have something against Mr. Mullik, are you there? You can give me a chat. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mullik. So, Saroj, I think Nirmal has their hands up. So, can you ask Nirmal to unmute himself and say some words?
Hello.
Yeah, Nirmal.
Yes, Nirmal, you can unmute and carry on.
Yes. I just, Shumon,
Yeah.
This 30 accounting standard has already been issued by this recommendatory as a mode of recommended by this ICI.
Yeah.
But one thing is that whether this applicability of the accounting standard in our local bodies, do you think it is justified to carry on this 30 accounting standard as all of the municipal staff and the knowledge of their and the educational background? Considering that, whether they can apply as we are the outsider, actually we just give this consultation to this organization. We are not regularly daily basis. We are not doing the job of their day-to-day accounting. So I think how it can be possible for this municipality like our West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, whatever may be the ULBs state.
I'll come to your
or the educational qualification of this most of the staffs in this accounts department, so far my knowledge goes, either they are the graduate or below graduate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how they can handle that 30 accounting standard in this municipality? What is the justification behind that? The 30 accounting standard institute has already been declared, and that is recommendatory.
All right.
But
I'll
somehow, how the ULB can handle? Can you just
yeah.
explain this matter?
See, they have made it, it is very clear that it is recommended in nature. But it is not that all the urban local body is small in nature. Like you have rightly identified and told that basically we have 128 urban local bodies in West Bengal and such amount
Yes,
of urban local bodies in Odisha and Bihar. Other than
yes,
this state, there are, I said Hyderabad has only two urban local bodies. That is Greater Hyderabad and Old Hyderabad. So so in that, if they are corporations, even you can see urban local body also includes corporation. If you look at the
corporation.
Calcutta
Yes,
corporations, there I think 5 or 6 charter accountants are their employee right now in Calcutta corporation. So whenever institute recommends anything, it is not only for say now Salt Lake is also become a corporation, but if I say very small and small urban local body like so
yes, yes.
or or a remote
Panihati, Khorda, or like that, the Boj, etc.
say Diamond Harbor.
So,
Diamond Harbor.
yes.
Yes. So
So
if
what is the logic actually?
the logic,
It is an uniformity. If you talking regarding this account should be in this uniformity, we can compare with intra firm and inter firm like that
yeah,
within the municipality and with some other local municipality or in the municipality of any other state.
yes, yes.
So if you compare, then accounts should be in conformity with this accounting standard, recommended accounting standard, and whether all the municipality is capable of handling this. We are talking about the big
Yes, yes.
corporation
That's
only.
I'm saying. I'm
But
saying.
can you just
Elaborate.
give one example? Any ULB has a basic qualification, any professional they are involved in this municipality, like a full-time employment?
Yeah. Yeah. Vimal, I'll come to it. See,
Yes,
whenever it is thought, institute thought of this accounting standard, it is not only that a small like Diamond Harbor or Pujali or Barrackpur, any of the small urban local bodies. I told you that this accounting standard was prepared looking to view because there is a international persons, international companies, international funding is coming up. So whenever they think of any of the parameters, so whenever any of the organizations is issuing any bond, they come to the urban local bodies and say to the institute and say, sir, how we can prepare our balance sheet that we can issue bonds. So for them it is a mandatory because their SEBI has made them compulsory, their RBI has made them compulsory. It is even for they are getting funding from other governments. That government has made it mandatory. So when the government makes it mandatory, if you don't have any handbook, I'll say this is a recommendatory and this is a handbook which is available to you. If you want to say that from tomorrow I'll wear coat and tie, till today I am wearing shirt, from tomorrow I'll wear a coat and a tie. It is not possible that if you think that tomorrow I'll have a tie and a coat, and you cannot stitch your coat in just 1 hour, and you cannot do justice to any of the offer that is coming. If any of the urban, say it's Hyderabad or you say Delhi, when some government directly other states or other company comes for a LLP, like you have know that Geo has made an LLP of all the parks in Bihar as a part of their PPP projects. So you must come to know that when Geo comes into an agreement and asks the government, do you know what is the status of your urban local body? I want to invest this and this amount. So now the government will think, I have to now prepare a DPR. I must have prepared a balance sheet that now I want Geo to invest here. Say whether a Tata says to the urban local body, now I want to make a hospital in your urban local body. What is your infrastructure? What is your revenue? What is the average revenue? What is your collection from your urban local body? And it is not being made mandate by the institute. It is been the mandate by the investor, your joint venture partner, your PPP model partner, your grant giving partner. This is as a handbook which is now available to this urban local body, who is going to take up this fund. So for them, this is an handbook. It is not whatever in the starting of my deliberation I told that it is the way, it is a thing that all the balance sheet of all the urban local body will collage and will be compiled and come as a balance sheet of state. It is not so. And even all the urban local bodies balance sheet all over the India will collage and come as a balance sheet. Is a combined balance sheet of all the urban local bodies of the government of India. This is not the scenario and this is not the requirement. This standard has been prepared because this is type of a handbook, which in prior hand, the government has, our institute has made it prepared and made it available for the urban local. It is upon the urban local bodies. If they say, now I'm coming to the point why institute has made this recommended. Now why institute has made it recommended right now? Because 15 finance, what they are asking for, now they are asking that you a charter should certify a balance sheet. See, this is the problem in West Bengal, because for other states like Delhi, like Bihar, it usually has to be balance sheet has to be certified by a charter accountant. But in case of West Bengal, it is the CAG who certified the balance sheet. It is the CAG who does the transaction audit. It was only the CS purview was the internal audit. Now I see if I can find the 15 finance geo. I'll share it with you. I'll try whether I can have it. Just give me a second. Nima, do you have this geo?
No, at present I have not, but it is recommended that it is by mouth. Actually, no geo from this government of West Bengal has been declared, and one meeting is held in very recent past, and they want the balance sheet should be certified by the charter accountant, but which authority we are fine. Actually, my question is that in which authority I have the authority to sign the balance sheet of ULB, and only we are a sign. Then I have to attest it.
See, whatever. See, whenever a grant comes, many of the grants comes with a tagline that it can be certified by the head of the organizations. Some of the grants come with a tagline that it should be certified by a charter accountant. Some of the funds comes with a tagline that fund will be audited by external auditor appointed by the funding agencies.
Like that's World Bank,
yes,
World Bank grant and ADB, DID, etc.
Yes. So because in the case of AKAM, what government thought of, that's why I said, that's why government has made it mandatory, that made it for the urban local bodies. Why you prepare your balance sheet, minimum 2 are mandatory, but in a rotate way. If they now comes and says the urban local body that it is mandatory for you, they will say, why, who are you to say that it is mandatory for me? I am a self-reliant government organization. I have the self body. So you cannot dictate me whether what accounting standards should I maintain. But whenever the institute says a member, you prepare your accounts as per the only 2 accounting standards. Because that institute can, because these 2 accounting standards is been very nicely, or they can draft the accounts based on this. It is not problem for any CA to draft to include these 2, whether knowing about the accounts of the urban local body, not knowing the accounts of the urban local body. Because what they are saying,
No, Subhan, I just want to share, and also I just ask one question regarding that. If any charter accountant have to sign, and in your reference in this earlier at the starting time, most of the ULBs have a pending balance sheet for more than 5 years.
Yeah.
How it can be signed by the charter accountant? Can you just give this way out for that? How?
How? I am saying that if there is not, basically there is no entry, no charter accountant can sign. How they will find a charter accountant who can sign a null balance sheet? I am afraid. I am saying
that is my question actually. At present, this is a prerequisite for this 15 finance. But most of the ULBs are pending accounts for the 5 to 6 years. So now, if they are signed, they have come for to you and any other chartered accountant of our fraternity, just sign one balance sheet. Is it possible for this chartered accountant to sign only a balance sheet without giving his report? What actually? It is just seen and signed.
No. It is not. It is the responsibility of the chartered accountant to see that the balance sheet has been properly prepared. And if it is not prepared, notes and accounts and accounting is reported to be qualified. And it is to be qualified. If you are auditing a balance sheet, it should be a properly.
And have the chartered accountant has the authority to statutory audit of a ULB at present in West Bengal?
No, I said no.
Overriding.
But if your urban local body gives you the authority to sign the balance sheet, you should take the responsibility to sign a justified balance sheet. That is what I am now saying. It is not that a urban local body asks and says, sir, you sign my balance sheet, no entry been passed for 5 years, you are having a heading of 2020-21 and the balance sheet figures are of 98-99. It is you to prove when a peer review comes that how come you justify to make this balance sheet signed by you. That's I am saying. That's I am saying that these two accounting standards have been mandatory. And any person, Nirmal, I cannot say a member you cannot sign, but it is the member's responsibility, and he must take creating the UDIN has make him responsible. In the UDIN, he must also identify and say 3 figures minimum, which he comes to know as true and correct. And if you have stating that only the thing you want to say is that only the year has changed, the figure has not changed. Somebody is signing with the UDIN saying that this is the balance sheet of the last year. It is upon the member, whenever it is called upon, he has to give his justification, how he has done the balance sheet. See, auditing, if your authority gives you, see, for any cooperative society, the government of West Bengal has not made it mandatory for the chartered accountant to sign the cooperative balance sheets. But the register is allowing the chartered accountant to sign the balance sheet, and based on the chartered accountant signed balance sheet, they are registering the cooperative society property. So it is the requirement. It is not that you can't do. You have the authority to do. You are also a CA. A CA from Bombay is also a CA. Say a CA from Delhi is also a CA. If a CA from Delhi, on the basis of his appointment letter, he must be knowing what is his appointment letter. If he is giving an appointment letter, I have found multiple audit report where you are given the appointment of internal audit and you are saying that my balance sheet and PL on the test basis, I have found that the balance sheet and profit and loss account or income expenditure shows a true and fair view.
Is it possible?
So it is not possible. It is not possible. You must first look into what is your appointment. If you don't know properly, if I'm sorry to say, if a chartered accountant does not know what he is appointed for, it is better he does not do the job. And if he does the job not knowingly what he is doing, it is better he'll get penalized for what he is doing. So that's why these are so many seminars are going on. So the institute, urban local body, taking this consideration because it has been mandatory from 1st April 2022. I think after this 22, institute has take multiple VCMs on this topic. Why this are being mandatory? Because now the question of signing the balances comes into play. When you are coming to sign the balance sheet, institute makes the member mandate to get the cash flow ready. Whenever there is no transaction entry in the balance sheet, you cannot find out your cash flow. Institute is intelligent enough. They are qualified members enough who can know from which paper they can find out whether it was properly drafted or not. So the institute had made it mandatory for the members. So I say that as per the Government of West Bengal Act, you are not required that the cooperative, that the urban local body is not required to audit his accounts audited by a chartered accountant. Now it is the mandate of the central government. It is the mandate of the 15 finance. So if the 15 finance make is mandatory when you are accepting your appointment letter. You say, sir, give my appointment in a proper way. If you are saying it is internal auditor, I am not going to not certify your balance sheet. I am not going to certify your profit and loss account. If I have to go to certify your balance sheet, this and this recommendation and this and the observations will be there. I cannot make it a true and fair. If there is fault in any, if you can find, you do a proper audit. If you make a proper team for if you can do a statutory audit for a big bank, why can't you do a statutory audit for urban local bodies? But you must be knowing what you are signing. Not knowing or signing anything, it is the responsibility, owner's responsibility of the member system.
That is our but why are you raising that most of the chartered accountant in that 71 more than 71 chartered accountants are presenting in that, but this is a lucrative job actually come into position at present, but I just clarify why I clarify what are the challenges behind that should be aware of. All these chartered accountant, all the fellow members should aware of that.
That's why I am raising that. Yeah, that's I'll just give a brush up, because all are knowing the borrowing cost and cash flow. It is all of the chartered accountants know better than me. I can only give a perspective in urban local body. So I was saying that I made it very ample clear why you should be prepared. नॉट दैट भाई बैलेंस शीट मिल रहा है, मेरे पास 15 आदमी लेके बैलेंस शीट लेके आ रहा है, वो बैलेंस शीट बोल रहा है आई एम साइनिंग द बैलेंस शीट एंड पुटिंग माय यूडिन. When you are signing a balance sheet, have a look, minimum look, whether you are signing a justified balance sheet or not. But if you are justifying any balance sheet, whether it is an organization, corporate organization, the responsibility when you are signing a corporate balance sheet is equal as when you are signing a non-corporate balance sheet. You cannot deny that I have not seen, I do not understand, I do not know. It is that if you don't know, there are accounting, there are multiple guidelines, there are handbook is there, e-handbook is there, you refer to the e-handbook. Again, so this is the thing I wanted to clarify, and I think I have another half an hour. So I'll just give a brief about the cash flows with regarding to urban local bodies.
So, Naveen Khankaji is there. He wants to have put one question to you.
Yeah.
Just a query was coming to my mind that a lot of schemes are being floated by central government as well as state government. For example, in our state, there is Konyashree, then some medical benefits as there. So whether this all qualifies as a government expenditure or they qualify as a urban local body schemes?
No, see, like if you know that it is if the health scheme are also there, if some amount is flowing from the state government to the urban local bodies, in the nature of grant, and that should be reflected in the state government also. But auditing the fund, that the GO will say, who will do audit of these funds. So Nirmal, I think, is doing for the health department. Nirmal has raised up his hand. Yes, Nirmal, carry forward. Yes, Nirmal.
Actually, this Konyashree and other scheme, all are the state government. So the duty of audit is borne to the state government actually, not in this urban local bodies. This is the actually implementing agency is that urban local bodies or panchayat. So they are not.
The funds are being getting flowed from not from the government side, but it is being getting distributed to local panchayats or local corporation offices from where the people are getting themselves registered, and then the money is.
Yes, but that portal is maintained by the state government. Actually, they are collecting like that Duare Sarkar, like that. Duare Sarkar, they can give this Konyashree, Lakshmishree, etc., whatever may be. There are multiple schemes for this women's and various person, old age person. And all these are routed through the ULB, but the central portal at the state government. The state government will look in all this portal. After registering this portal, the fund is directly come to the beneficiary directly. It has no, the ULB has no funding regarding that. They receive the fund and distribute like that. There is no such cases. That directly from the state government.
Yes.
directly to the beneficiaries portal. So there is no interference for transferring the money from ULB to any beneficiary directly from the state government portal. So it is not the liability of the any liability to the ULBs regarding that fund.
Basically, ELB is acting like a post office. They are sorry, fund is coming, and as they can identify the beneficiary, they are the persons who could identify the beneficiaries. And once the beneficiaries identified
and uploaded into this portal. Actually, there is a separate portal to after filing this form. That filing form has to be entered into this portal, and that portal is actually government portal. That is state government portal. And from them, from the central state government, this fund will directly comes to the beneficiary's bank account. There is no interference between this government.
One thing I want to add: whenever the central government or it may the state government, whenever they comes out with any of the fund, with they comes out with a geo. It says in between whether the fund which has been given disbursed to the urban local bodies required any audit on the part of the urban local bodies, whether it should be in a form of utilization of this fund or any special audit is going to be sent by the state or by the central government to the urban local body to audit their papers, because the beneficiary KYCs and other vouchers are kept in the urban local bodies because they are the dealing office. So it is
that also uploaded in the system. KYC also uploaded in the system or portal which is maintained at the state level.
Yes.
And each and every beneficiary's detail are just one form is filled by the beneficiary and submit to the ULB. ULB will then data entered into their portal, and that portal is kept central, state government directly. And for the old age pension which is given from the central government, that portal directly given to the central government. At present, there is no such monetary grant come into this ULB and distributing this money to this old age. There is no such cases at present.
Taking that example of 15 Finance, 15 Finance has not made it mandatory till date. Whether the grant now till date they have made it that the grant should be properly justified by the head of the institution, that is the chairman or the mayor. If he says that the grant has been made, expenditure has been made, they accept that as a primary entry, but they can send their individual audit persons also, or they can, for some grant, they can say that your expenditure statements should be audited and sent to us, like any of the grants given to the colleges. They say, why also the grant given to a particular project, the project in charge should also sign, and a certified copy of a chartered accountant should be followed with it, that we should accept that it has the utilization has been made. So
that is grant from the outside agency. Like as any World Bank project, and that should be certified by a chartered accountant, not by this government CAG. CAG, they conduct the audit as a whole, just the transaction audit, but the balance sheet and other things in this World Bank or Asian Development Bank project, that will be done by the chartered accountant, and there is a separate assignment and there is a separate actually procedure for the World Bank tendering procedure.
Even I'll first because time is, we have only 30 minutes in hand, I think. So I'll just process some
you conclude.
So basically we know that what are the few definitions is the cash in hand, and is I must explain you. But one thing is cash equivalent, because for cash equivalent is the short term. Short term should be defined as a cash equivalent. So what is the term? It is 3 months from the acquisition date. That is what should be a short term. Say if you have made an investment for 6 months, it is not to be considered as short term, and it is it should not be considered as it should be considered as investment, not cash equivalent. If you are making a short-term investment and that short-term investment should be less than 3 months, but I want to clarify this point of time. Somebody may come with the conclusion that, sir, we have made a 6 months investment in the month of November. So November, December, January, February, March. On the day of March, the investment has a time period of only 2 months. So whether it is so it is a cash equivalent. No, it should be the 3 months from the date of acquisition. It say if you make an investment of for 2 months and record it every 2 months, it will be equivalent to cash equivalent. Because if you have the authority to liquidate it after 2 months, but if you are making an investment for 6 months and at the end financial year end, you may be expiry date is 6 months or expiry date is 1 month, till it will not be considered as cash equivalent, it will be considered as investment. Now regarding why this is very important, see, whenever a government issues any grant to the state government, through the state government or through the central government, you as an urban local body is receiving a huge amount. So you'll be surprised to know, even the chairman or the finance officer comes to know this funding is coming, the bank manager of any private bank will come to your chamber and say, sir, this amount has been disbursed at Delhi level. Sir, you can invest this amount. I'll make a 6 times FD, sir, for your amount, that you can earn interest on this, and you can utilize this amount as an interest, as an income for your organization. Sir, why do you keep this account in a term account, in a current account? Keep it all the government are sending their amount to the current account, not in a savings account. So, so now what you see that, so this current account, there is no interest component in this current account. So the banker will come and say, sir, please invest it. But there is a particular geo on this, that if there any interest is earned on any grant given for a special purpose, the interest are either to be given back to the originating person who has given the fund, or it can be adjusted with the balance amount which you are going to receive. So if you are not, even the chairman or the finance officer is not knowledgeable enough, you will think that I can earn a small amount from a huge amount from this investment. I can derail the project for another year, so I can have a hefty amount of interest on, and I can utilize it for other purpose. But it is very clear that this interest portion has to be given back. So whenever you are coming across to see any grant, first see for cash and cash equivalent, where is the amount kept? Well, kept in the cash and bank, or then it is equivalent to cash. And if it's also, it may happen that they are keeping for less than 3 months in any short-term investment, it is also to be treated as cash equivalent. But if the period is more than 3 months, it is not to be treated as short term. It is not a cash equivalent. So there are revenue operating activity. Operating is revenue activity, not investing, not financing. Investing is acquisition and disposal of long-term asset, and financing it is change in the size and composition. See, whenever you are financing activity, means you are again giving out any person or coming out with a joint venture or lending out money which contribution is for the finance activity. So, and investing is that you have to going to invest for a long term. So investing and financing may be overlapping, but we make it very clear that the investing is that for any project you are making any investment from which from that project you will earn a cash flow in the coming future. And financing means you are again lending out to someone, that amount is being used by someone which is not being used for your purpose. So this I think you will be very much clear at the operating, investing activity and financing activity. So manner of presentations and method of reporting, I think I'll just go up. Statement of cash flows will be presented in an integral part of the financial statement. That's why I say they had not made it mandatory for the balance sheet to be prepared, the income and expenditure to be prepared, but instead of saying that cash flows should be presented as an integral part of financial statement, and they are saying that this cash flow should be made as per the defined in the accounting standard, and that accounting standard is accounting standard 2 for urban local bodies. Classification of cash flows: operating activity, investing activity, financing activities. Method of reporting cash flow: operating activity, present cash received, gross received, payment using direct method, encouraged by the standard, or using indirect method. Investing and financing activities, separate report, major class-wise, gross received and payment. For investing and financing activity, say if you have one storage project, if you want water work project, then you have to give a product head is investing, but it should be classified again, subdivided into 2 or 3 parts, say for storage treatment, say for water treatment, say for garbage, anything like, but it was separately and disclose it for which one. And for investing also, if you are putting the banks in, say, State Bank, in other private bank or any other bank, it should be classified and clarity should be given that the difference amount should be given in different in the total amount along with the breaker should be there. Reporting on net basis, cash flow may be reported net in the following cases: cash flow reflecting activity of customer reflected rather than entity, a cash flow item in which the turnover is quick amount or large and city are short. Means if you are reporting on net basis cash flow, like say if you are earning from trade license and then you are making certain expenditure for trade license, you can reflect that. If you are making any expenditure for say advertisement and you are incoming is some having some income from this advertisement part, so you can net off and show it. Non-cash transactions, such transactions could be disclosed elsewhere in the financial statement in a way that provides all the relevant information about the investment and financing activities. Means say if you see that you had made a check which has not been in cash, but the check has been not been deposited by the concerned person collecting the check, and it is not reflected in your cash flow. So, but it is to be disclosed that this type of expenditure has been made, though this item is lying in the balance sheet, and proper disclosure should be given. So another is that borrowing cost, another accounting standard. This is the borrowing cost. Is the main thing is the core principle of the scope, terminology, recognition, borrowing cost eligible for capitalization. These are the broader head. So core principle is the borrowing costs that are directly attributable to the acquisition, construction, or production of a qualifying asset for part of the cost of the asset. Borrowing costs are recognized as an expenses. See, you can make an borrowing, say for 1 crore for certain projects, but you are paying a certain salary out of that fund, and you are not actually making the expenditure for that properly. So it is that you have made the borrowings for construction or acquisition or production of certain asset, but you have made some revenue expenditure out of this fund. So that core principle is reflected in one that why you are borrowing the cost and the proper for the purpose you are borrowing, you should stick to the purpose. You can see because in a municipality or in an urban local body there is a register called the Grant Appropriation Register or the Grant Movement Register or Grant Matrix, whatever you say. Basically, whatever you see is if there is a earmark fund, whether it is a borrowed or it is a lended, because whenever accounting standard is thought of borrowing, because it is related to a third party. So institute saying that for this purpose, you must be very careful, because whenever you can see that the borrowing from any borrowing from a banker or any third party had made a declaration that we are going to make a shop or we are to make a water treatment plant. So we require this and this. So we are acquiring this amount at the rate of this interest. So when you are preparing the balance sheet or you are preparing the cash flow in any financial statement, you clarify, say, for this purpose, this amount has been come into, and this has not been expenditure, not been made for that purpose, because the borrowing was asked for certain purpose, and if they divert from that proper purpose and utilizing the amount for other purpose, So you should look into it. Any revenue expenditure out of it, then it should be that portion should be allocated. That my entire total borrowing cost should be apportioned in that way, that the financial charge also be charged. See, if you are making any borrowing where it is not being linked to it, means it is not clarified that you are going to make this expenditure for this particular project. You say that I want some money, so I'm lending this amount from you. But when you are preparing the financial statement, the interest you are bearing, you should see that the proper accounting is maintained. It is not that they all are being, because this has been borrowed cost and basic purpose was for to build up an asset. So it all are capitalized. It's all expenditure are capitalized. You have to look into it that what is for. If there is any revenue expenditure, make proper entry. Scope is that the standard does not apply for borrowing costs directly attributable to the acquisition, construction, and production of cost. Because whenever their funding is directly for that cost, so it is not within the scope of you. Because whenever government is giving you any fund for any purpose and it is not having any interest part on it, so it has nothing to do with ours to allocate the interest part on that. The terminologies that are interest and other costs that are equity incurred in connection with the borrowing of fund. If there is any cost or any interest or other cost that the entity is creating or this is making expenditure for having this cost has to be added up to the borrowing cost, to the amount which has been added up. See, some of the times people will say that you are making a borrowing of 5 lakhs, but I will make a disbursement of 4,90,000. Now your cash flows is only 4,90,000, but your cash flows miss out 10,000. But your information is there, so this is your borrowing cost. It is to be added up to your borrowing cost. That means you have to add up your borrowing amount to not 4,90,000, but make it 5 lakhs. As a qualifying asset is an asset that necessarily takes a substantial period of time to get ready for the intended use or sale. Say, if you are making some borrowing to fix an AC in a marriage hall, for which you are going to earn in as a rent. So, what is your purpose is to do is to allocate. And that AC can be built up in 2 or 3 months because it's prefixed and you are going to buy and fix it. So your initial interest cost may not be a major factor, but whenever you are going to build up any SWM project or any garbage treatment plant, it may require 2 or 3 years. So the interest component should also be added up. This is only a grass up and recognize, and when you are going to recognize it, entities should capitalize eligible borrowing costs directly attributable to the acquisition, construction, of the production of the qualifying the asset. And if you have to keep it in as a WIP, other borrowing costs are recognized as an expenses. See, if you are going so recognizing means the amount you are going to capitalize and the amount you are going to keep on the revenue part. It is depend on the time which is going to prepare. So a qualifying asset as an asset that necessarily takes a substantial period. Depending on the circumstance, any of the following may be qualified asset. That is inventory, manufacturing plant, power generation facility, integral asset, investment property, bearing plant. Another regarding the government geo, I want to share with everyone that government does not allow the urban local bodies any fund, gives any fund to buy any land. So if you find auditing a urban local body, when you see that car and land, these are the two no issues. They can give you maintenance for the cars. They can issue amount that you can hire vehicles, but for directly buying any vehicle or directly buying any land, it is no for the urban local bodies. If some urban local bodies has brought something, you must, my request is that you must go into that transaction, look whether it was proper passed in the board, and if he is out of his own fund or it has been brought from the fund diverting the fund which has been given by the state government, central government, or any other agencies. So borrowing cost, which includes this. So this was a major area I thought I should share with you. Borrowing cost may include interest expenses calculated using the effective interest method. Interest in respect of less liability recognition is recorded with lesser amount of finance such and such. I think these are not to be given so elaborate discussions. So with this, I stop my sharing. Yes, I think I have said about 1 hour 40 minutes. So now it is over to you, Saroj. You can open up the forum for question and answer.
Thank you, Suman. Nice delivery from your side. I request my friends, if you all have any questions, any doubts, they can straight away unmute themselves and put questions to Mr. Suman Chaudhary.
Yes, any questions, any doubt, anything you think which I have missed out, or anything you think that should be have been a part of this, or any suggestions?
Suman, just update me once regarding those grant availment and utilization.
Yes.
Is it compulsion to sign the grant utilization certificate by a statutory auditor or any chartered accountant?
Whenever a grant is given, it is tagged with a government order. This is GO. It is called the GO. It is a government order. If you go on reading this GO, it clarifyingly says what is the requirement. Because every GO says that if any of the grant, it is like World Bank, they're coming out and saying that, say, like World Bank may be funding any particular urban local body, or it may giving the fund to the state government, and it may ask the state government identify these and these criteria urban local bodies, because it is need-based assessment should be made. Where if the World Bank says we want to make a water sanitation, water
or something,
any water filtration project, or there are some water project, or say any tubes in some of the urban local bodies. So they are now having a collaboration with the state government. They ask the state government, sir, you give us a number of 100 villages where we can go out with this project. So now the government says need-based assessment asks from the urban local bodies. These are called the DPRs. So DPRs have been prepared and submitted to the state government by the urban local bodies and the panchayat. If they are selected and the DPR, if the state government thinks that this is selected, then they will ask this urban local body and say, "Why this is your AA and FS, means this is the allotment amount. This is the PWD schedule expenditure amount. So you have to make this amount, and you have to." Some of the GO says that you have to maintain a separate bank account for this fund. Somebody may say, sir, you have to prepare this within 6 months, or somebody says that now no amount will be given to you. You just plant and produce your bill. They may say within 1 month, if you put up the tender, we will disburse 10%. If you give a work order, we'll again disburse 10%. So here about they are taking utilization after the work is been completed. So, or sometimes one may say that I will not do regular monitoring. I'll give you this amount. You just make the amount expenditure from your account, and it make the amount just certified by a chartered accountant. So this is the demand of the government order. First of all, when you are signing it, whether you have the scope to sign, you have to see that whether you have the scope to sign. Now, if you don't have the scope, your chairman is afraid that your previous board has made this expenditure, and the utilization is sent to the state government or the central government. Now he is now seeking from a scapegoat, and he is coming to you, sir, I have 10,000 fund for you. So this is the audit fund. You come and give an audit of this utilization of this fund. So you must say, sir, where is my appointment letter for me? It is the state government is giving, then say, sir, what, under which basis? If you are giving, okay, sir, we are there to audit. You just give me the appointment letter. Taking an internal auditor appointment, I am signing and using UDIN for the utilization certificate, and not even charges separately for the utilization certificate I'm signing. What I have gathered knowledge and seeing other municipalities, say our auditor, internal, they have appointed the internal auditor, and this is the person, soft person, is available every day. Whenever the utilization comes, chairman say, "Arey bhai, chartered hai na, uske sign kara ke bhej do." So, matlab, I am safe. Anything comes, we have been shown by the chartered accountant. And now, new fallacy of the state government is that it should be a CAG approved. In CAG empaneled chartered accountant means he should be having a name in the CAG portal. Because central government only loves CAG. Now the state government say, "Bhai, CAG empaneled chartered." This empanelment is not made by the CAG. They are only, their number is lying with the CAG. They are being approved by the CAG, means they are being scrutinized by the CAG. They had applied for them, CAG have given them a number. Now, what many of the state governments shows to the central government, why they are the CAG approved, appointed chartered accountant, and you go to the CAG list, and this is the CAG number. So we have been given them, and they are auditing these accounts. So be aware of be very particular about the appointment you are receiving. You must first know what you are receiving, what you have to do, and what is your deliverable. Because if you are an internal auditor, you are not bound to sign the grants. If it is a separate assignment, very good, go on it. If you are making a UDIN, you raise a bill. Not that even I'm sharing my experience. I have taken an internal auditor of XYZ under one local bodies. As I am the internal auditor, I cannot do audit of different grants. Even I cannot issue 10A. So I have called my friend and said, "Bhai, तुम वो 10A कर देना, मैं तो internal auditor हूँ, तुम 10A कर देना, I will share my fees," because sharing of fees is allowed by the institute. But this friend of mine who has signed the 10A has not got his appointment. And whenever a confrontation comes, he says that I am not getting my fees. The originally appointed urban local body said, "Bhai, there is no appointment of yours. A call from your friend who used to be our internal auditor had made a call to you and you have signed on that. This is the internal arrangement between my internal auditor and you. Why you are asking me to pay you the amount? I have not given you the appointment letter." And this is the place where the differences comes and play. Now also, people who does not know C Institute, वो लोग बुला के बोलते हैं, "भाई ये क्या है, इसको ये पैसा नहीं दिया, सुमंदा देखिए ना, ये पुराना ऑडिटर इनको पैसा नहीं दिया." So, but he has not got his appointment also. So you must be very particular, because you see, for a government audit, for any corporate audit, you are always bound. Because see, what is the danger underlying between it? You are signing a audited balance sheet, you are signing a balance sheet, and you are saying you have done an internal audit. And if any person has gone away with the money, or if there is a stolen of cash, and at the time of transaction audit, CAG auditor comes and find out, he will first upon call you up and say, "Bhai, you are the internal auditor. आपने क्यों नहीं देखा, आपने क्या देखा था?" And again, you have signed the balance sheet with the reporting that there was a check which has been passed as income, but never there in the account. It was lying as a stale amount in the balance sheet, in the BRS account. So these are the areas. I say, whenever you do any audit for any government, be very particular about your appointment. What is your scope of work? If you are only a consultant, be a consultant. Don't give UDs, don't give anything, because there you are a consultant. But giving a consultant, giving your utilization certificate, you are giving a conflict of your interest. So that is all. Hariramji is here.
Thank you so much.
Please, sir.
Any other question, friends?
Very nice presentation, Suman.
Namaskar, sir.
हाँ बोलिए सर.
স্যার বলছিলাম যে লোকাল অথরিটি যেগুলো আছে, আমি তো 7-8 বছর হয়ে গেল আমার প্র্যাকটিস, কিন্তু কোনোদিন এই লোকাল অথরিটি কিছু পেলাম না। তো কিভাবে অপরচুনিটি কোথায় কি আছে? আজকে ফের ম্যান্ডেট করে দিলেন আপনারা।
সিএ সাংসদ আর সিএ ইনস্টিটিউটে যে টেন্ডার পোর্টালটা আছে, there is a portal in the CA Institute. You just follow the tender portal. If the urban local bodies is uploading that tender in the means making e-tender, it will be automatically floated in the C Institute site or the C Institute tender portal. It will be automatically coming into. From there, they can find out. And urban local body, among bank audit and all audit, it is not that the institute is giving to you. Come out of the notion that institute is giving to you. It has been earned by the members because he has got the capacity to do it. So if you are staying in any of your urban local bodies nearby, you can go personally and you can ask them, they said, is there anyone serving as your consultant? If not, I have this I have this expertise, I can help you out. It is not that I am going to audit you, because you can be a consultant if you have a say they are asked for people. I have found many tenders, they are asked for DPRs, preparation of DPRs, of which finance a major part is the financial DPRs. People who are taking engineers, who are taking up this DPR as their assignment, are finding out for proper chartered accountants who can guide them for the financials. Because any of the DPRs prepared by the urban local body are going to be vetted by the high power committee in the state government. And these financials will be again submitted to the World Bank, who they disburse the amount. So if you are courses are there, you first enroll for the urban local body courses, because let first the government knows who are the person who has the minimum expertise. They have got the proper knowledge what the government accounting is involved, because institute have now running the 18th or 19th batch. I think every batch has 120 over participants. I used to be first or second batch, I or Nirmal. Now I think it's 18 or 19 batch is going on. So you first enroll for this. You have the proper knowledge of doing the job. सर आपको अपॉइंटमेंट भी मिल गया ना, तो आपको लगेगा कि मेनी ऑफ पीपल न्यू सीएस आर कॉलिंग मी, सर स्कूल ऑडिट तो मिल गया, फीस तो 2000 ही है, करेंगे क्या, हाउ टू डू इट, व्हाट टू डू इट. सो यू मस्ट नो व्हाट टू डू इट फर्स्ट. काम आपको मिलेगा भी, देन योर हैंड विल शेक. भाई 1 करोड़ का फंड आया सर, अभी साइन करेंगे तो कुछ तो मालूम नहीं है कहां से आया कहां गया. I am certifying the fund has been utilized for the proper way, in a proper manner. हमको तो पता ही नहीं सर किसका फंड था. I do not know how they are saying कि उसको मिला था गार्बेज के लिए. उनके पास एक तो वो अपना लोग डिसाइड कर लिया, they will not do in garbage, they will build up the pitch. So you must know भाई, उसको बोलिए जब जियो लाइए, अपना रेजोल्यूशन लाइए, there is a board, बोर्ड का मीटिंग होता है, बोर्ड का फाइनेंशियल पावर कितना होता है. By a municipal rule, first of all, you must know the law. There is a municipal rule, municipal act. There is a corporation act. You first come, when you are doing a tax audit, you are knowing the income tax act. So when you are doing a municipality audit, you must know the municipal law, the municipal rules. Then you are quite efficient and you will gather your work. Nobody is going to there for you to search for any work. That's my humble submission, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, institute site ta ki bollan buঝতে পারলাম না.
There is a tender site for the ICAI. So Hariram ji will elaborate on this. Institute देता है, सब कुछ tender में आता है.
नमस्कार हरिराम जी, नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सर.
ठीक है.
और सर नीतीश जी तो है ही, कोई भी टेंडर निकालने से उसका तुरंत आपको व्हाट्सएप में नीतीश जी भेज देते हैं. नीतीश जी
ठीक है. Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions from anyone? Suman, I think you have clarified and answered to each and every questions and queries of the audience and my fellow colleagues. So I think I should personally thank you very much. And on behalf of Views Exchange also, I thank you.
Thanks.
Now, I thank each and every participants from my side. And for formal vote of thanks, I would request Hariram ji to offer a formal vote of thanks to our speaker and the entire audience. Hariram ji.
Thank you, Mr. Suman Chaudhary, for nicely deliberating on the topic to which most of us and more particularly me thought that how it will be covered for 2 hours, and I can see that you have already completed 2 hours on the topic, which is least known among the CA fraternity. And it can be of mutual help and mutual support to the professionals, as well as on the other side, the urban local bodies and other bodies. So certainly the process in the last few 15 minutes, what Sumanji has told, is perfectly required, that you must know what you are going to do. Otherwise, you will be in the fix, because you must know where from to get the work first of all. So that is a tender site, and directly approaching the local urban municipalities and all. So whoever is the chairperson or chief accountant over there, or senior position officers are there. So they are searching for the people. But before accepting the work, we must know our limitation. We must know the risks involved in signing those documents. Because as rightly told by Sumanda, the paper signed by you may move up to World Bank. And if it is going to World Bank, several persons are there to scrutinize what you have signed. And by doing anything without knowing will put you in danger. So we must know the law, rules, what rules will be applicable. It may be different for different municipalities. So that has to be known, and how a common thread running through all these audits and the work as to be educated by the training courses conducted by our ICI. And whosoever is interested may join those classes, whatsoever batch is coming now onwards, if you are really interested in that. And whenever there is need of any support in that, Mr. Suman Chaudhary, I hope, will certainly help you all in that line. So many thanks for that to all of you, and more particularly the participants, without whose active participation and whose presence, the program would not have been so successful. So thank you once again to all the participants, organizer Sarojji Swaika, Niteshji Moore, and the learned speaker Sumanji Chaudhary. Thank you all of them. And Sarojji will be announcing the program on tomorrow. Sarojji.
Thank you, Sarojji, for taking risks of organizing this type of new approach for BCM. I can find around 70-75% was there in the present in the program. It's a good approach and good participation is there.
Thank you so much for coming and sparing out so much time for all of us. And as far as you said, it is a risk. So we have to take risk. So vested interest is, of course, of ours only at large, if you can see on the other side. So to all my friends, tomorrow we have a session at 11:30 on section 148 Honorable Supreme Court's judgment, wherein our eminent speakers, Advocate Kapil Goyal from New Delhi, will enlighten us. So it is a humble request to please register and join for benefit of all of us together. It will be a nice session, hopefully. Thank you each and everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Suman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Niteshji,
Thank you.